Firstly, just for the voice readers, if you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, I'm Shamere. I'm from Barbados. I came to the UK on the farm program from Barbados, and that's about it.
And tell us about what you was told about the program, how it was sold to you, the promises that were made in terms of what you would be doing, and also like how much money you would earn potentially, and the sort of hours you would be working.
Okay, what I was told in regards to money, you'll be making like £400 a week, which will be £1,200 a month. What else? The accommodation, he said that you will have to pay for accommodation when he gave us a specific price, and then it was something totally different when we got here. Speaking about the transportation from the airport to Scotland, the price was £65, and then it went to £85 because they had it was supposed to be 20 persons coming, but persons started to drop out due to financial issues or personal issues, right? So then the price went up. This is when it went to the £85. Then he was like, it's 15 of you. So he's going to try to see if he can work out something and get the price drop a little bit. So then that's where we ended up at the £70. But then it was like when we got here and I saw the minivans, because that's what we call them in Barbados, minivans. I was like, but where's the coach? Because everybody was waiting for a coach. And in Barbados, a coach is like a big bus, an AC bus or whatever. So when we saw the two minivans, was like, oh, what's this? What's this?
Talk us through, firstly, the experience and what you went through and what you saw with your own eyes at the in as much detail as possible. So our readers and our listeners can really understand what happened to you.
Okay, so the first farm in Scotland, the accommodation was not bad. In all honesty, it wasn't bad at all. Well, I could speak for the caravan that I was staying in. It wasn't so bad. The only issue that we had with accommodation was that they had no heat in the bedrooms. So we had to purchase heaters, £30 for one, and we had two. The first 10 days of quarantine, we had to buy our groceries from, we had to buy our groceries from a guy that delivers, because obviously we're in quarantine, so we couldn't leave. And the persons weren't bringing anything for us or anything. In terms of the work, at this first farm, you had to go on your knees with a sledge and pick the strawberries, because that's what we were supposed to be doing, picking strawberries. If you get up for like a second or whatever to stretch your back for being down there for so long on your knees, they're like, oh, you're gonna need to get back down, you need to pick. Okay. It had a slave mentality to me, because like, you're only human. You're on your knees for so long, you need to get up and stretch or something. The very, very first day that we went to work on this farm, we went to work for 4 hours. I think it was 4 hours, if I sound correctly. And we had a 15-minute break. This was for the 4 hours. Then the second day that we went, it was a full 8-hour day, and we still had only that 15-minute break. The bathroom wall is from, I don't know what to reference it to that you might be aware of. I want to say 2 miles, or I don't know, but it was a long ways from wherever in the field you are. Along with that, the toilets on the field are portable toilets. However, they're not clean at all. They're always dirty. So it's like, when you go in there, you don't want to do whatever you went to do anymore, because it's that dirty. It's disgusting.
Yeah, when you say dirty, I mean, tell us what you saw when you went to use the portable toilets.
they will have stool on the toilets, and for some reason, I don't know what it is that what we're getting people mind to stand up on top of the toilet with muddy boots, because some of the fields at the first farm were mostly wet. So the boots will be muddy, and they're gonna go stand up on top of the toilet instead of just using the toilet like a normal person and have it dirty or full of stool and tissue. Oh, and on top of that, with a nasty toilet, they had no water to wash your hands after you use the toilet. So, people going in the toilet, doing their business, coming out, and then getting a pick strawberries. So I urge every person that buys strawberries to please wash your fruits. It's not clean. In regards, sorry, go ahead.
Talk to us about the pay that you received while working on this first farm.
Okay, so this first farm, they were paying you by piece rate. We were getting, I think it was £1 and 10 pence. But it was supposed to be £8.91 per hour, regardless, because we were in training the first 2 weeks. We only stayed there approaching 3 weeks. But in the first 2 weeks, we were supposed to get £8.91 per hour, regardless. But then when we started, they were saying, oh, this is how it goes. Whatever you pick, you get £1 and 10 pence for each crate. And each crate has 10 pallets. So you have to be on your knees all day long, picking 10 pallets for each crate. So if you get like 26 crates, you're getting 26 by 1.1. That's your pay pack. You're not getting your full £8.91.
And how did that affect you while you was there? Was you able to support yourself, send money back home? Was you able to buy food?
Well, in regards to funds, we were told to come up with some sort of funds to like sustain ourselves for like the first 2 weeks, because like I told you before, they didn't provide any food for us. We had to pay for the accommodation on our own, everything. So they basically just sponsored us, just in number, because they didn't pay for the ticket either. We were told to book one ways as well. So they didn't pay. Sorry, go ahead.
Talk a bit about that, Shamere. You're saying he was told to book a one-way ticket into the UK from Barbados. Who told you the one-way ticket?
The agent that we spoke to from Concordia, Mr. Griffith.
Mm-hmm. And do you regret booking a one-way ticket to come to the
UK? Yeah, I do. Because at one point I was like, how am I gonna afford this? I don't know how I can afford this ticket to go home. I don't have any family, any blood family of over here, anything like that. So what if I didn't have anybody at all? Suppose nobody at home couldn't help me, then what will happen? You're asking the same officer, the liaison officer, if Concordia would be able to assist or anything, and he's like, you have to work to buy the ticket, to go back, etc. So the answers were really vague. Sometimes he won't answer at all.
Mm-hmm. And have you raised these concerns to your agents?
Yes, they have. And all he says is, I'm going to speak to Concordia and get back to you guys and let you know what's happening. The quickest thing they do is move you to another firm. And my concern with that is that they don't check to see where they're sending you properly. Like, they don't physically go and see, like, I'm sending these people to this place. Let me go and see if the accommodation is good, if they're going to be comfortable. They don't check. They just send you. Mm-hmm. And on top of it, you have to pay for each transportation that you need to get from one farm to the next.
Mm-hmm. Now you spoke about moving from farm to farm. Let's talk about why you were moved from the first farm. Tell us why you were eventually moved, and tell us about farm number 2.
The work, it was really, really strenuous on persons. Well, from myself, speaking on myself, my back, really, really hurt me and my niece. So I was like, no, I'm done with it. I'm not doing it. So I let the agent know my feelings about it, and they had a meeting, and he asked the others their feelings about it, and they obviously didn't want to be there either. So he spoke to Concordia again and made arrangements to go to the second firm. For this firm, we actually didn't have to pay the accommodation, not the accommodation, the transportation for this one. They provided their own transportation, and we just moved. So then when we moved, we were placed into new caravans. When we first got there, the lady showed me a caravan in the back. She was like, this one is for couples because my boyfriend is here as well. So she's like, this one is one that you could use for a couple. When we went inside of this caravan, the caravan had an odor. The cupboard doors were falling off. The best part about the caravan was the couple's bed. Everything else was just a mess. So I was like, I'm not staying in this one if you have anything else. So she took us to something else, and that one was better. That was a lot better. For this farm, I don't have any issues, to be honest. I don't have any issues. The accommodation was fine. The work timings, everything was fine. But then we one day, because when we first got there, they didn't give us a tour of the farm. So we basically didn't know where every field was to know about, yeah, we're gonna go to this field or that field. So how they do it, they send you a roster on Facebook. They have everybody on Facebook, and they send you roster on Facebook Messenger. You would read the roster, see your name, see which field you have to go in and what time. Our first day of training, I had to ask what was FD for, because I was like, what is this? They just sent the roster. They didn't tell us where to go nor anything. So we kind of got there a little bit late. This was the first day. Second day, same thing. They moved us from the field that we work in the day before and put us somewhere else, a further field. Bear in mind, we still don't know this place. We don't know where we're going. So we got to ask questions. The office doesn't open until 8. There's nobody down there until 8. So there's nobody that we can ask where to go. That morning work started at 6:30. So we were basically wandering about like headless chickens, trying to find out where everybody's supposed to be. But some persons found it, some persons didn't on time. And a warning letter was issued, and this was in our training week. A warning letter was issued to my boyfriend, which I find to be very wrong about, because you didn't know, he didn't know where to go. There was nobody to ask, and he and his cousin went twice, and there was nobody there.
Talk to us about what else happened on this second farm.
Okay, in the very first week, the supervisor that we had a lady. I don't know if it is that she's racist or if she just has an attitude problem, but she would literally be like shouting at us. And if she tell you something in English, she's gonna start talking to somebody else in another language about you, and you're right there. She's gonna start doing that.
Were the Bayesian workers like yourself and the other people that came from Barbados, were you the only Black workers on these farms?
Yes, please, we were.
Okay. Did you notice any differential treatment between yourselves and other workers that were there?
Well, in regards to the second farm, no. The first and the third farm, though, yes, I noticed a difference in the treatment.
Can you elaborate a bit more?
Okay, on the first farm, you will not get to pick which role you wanna pick through, because on Martinez you have to walk past the rows to to go down to where you need to put down your bag, which is like the little lunch area. I gotta talk to you about that too. But you will walk past the rows already, so you know, like, well, that one got a lot of strawberries. And like I tell you, the first farm was on piece rate. So obviously everybody know trying to find a row that has a lot of strawberries because you getting paid by piece. So if you pick a row and a supervisor see you going on through that row, she's like, or he's like, not that row, you go get another one. But you will see a Russian or a Bulgarian or anybody else go pick a row that they want to pick.
When you went on to those rows that you was told to go on, did you find that there was lots of strawberries on those rows, or were they empty?
A lot of rubbish. That's exactly what they call it. They tell you that you have to pick the rubbish. And that's majority of what we used to pick, because they would let persons go in the rows that have strawberries and put us in the rows that barely have any.
Mhm. Okay. And that would ultimately affect your pay. Tell us about moving from the second farm now onto the third one.
Okay, the move from the second farm to the third one, we had to pay £80 from Scotland to, it was Norwich, yeah, to Norwich.
All right, let's talk about this third. This is the third and final farm, isn't it?
Yeah, please.
Let's talk about the third and final farm. What you saw, what happened, and what drove you to leave.
Whew. Okay, so when we got there, the guy that greeted us, he was really nice. He was nice throughout the whole stay at the farm, I must say. The accommodation, let's talk about this accommodation. Now, as you know, I have a boyfriend here. So the guy called us out first. He said he knows there's a couple in the group, so he wants that couple to come forward. So we went, and he said he's gonna show us a room. Okay, so we went and we saw this room. When we got there, the room was like how to put it? It was a bunk bed. They had 2 bunk beds in the room. 2 sets of bunk beds. 4 wardrobes, which is like just the doors, just the doors going cross. A chest to draw, a fridge, a mini fridge, and that was it. That was the room. The bathroom is outside. You have to walk outside to go to the bathroom. The first set of bathrooms you get to, those are always dirty. They will have stool on the toilets, inside the toilets, on the floor, in the corner. The female bathrooms will have blood on tissue in the corner, on top of the seats. Oh, God. The showers, no. Some of the showers don't have hot water, so when you press it on, it's like a prison shower. So you have to press it, and then it's gonna flow for a couple of seconds, and it's gonna go off. Then you gotta press it again to wash off the soap and everything. In regards to transportation to work, they have a little trailer on the back of tractors. So you would get in the trailer and you go to the field. The trailer is gonna come back for you and bring you back. The bathrooms on the site, those are actually clean. Those are way cleaner than the actual camp, to be honest. And that's really shocking, because I mean, like, those ones don't have water like the ones back at the camp. So I mean, like, what's so hard about flushing it or cleaning up after yourself?
Would you encourage anyone else? I mean, when you get back to Barbados, would you encourage any other Bajans to come on this scheme, to come and pick strawberries and fruit in the UK?
No, it would not. I honestly would not. I would love to warn every single person that decides to even think about this program. I mean, there are other programs, other places, and you don't hear this sort of thing happening. there was actually one of the guys that came up here on this program with us that usually goes to the one in Canada. And he was so shocked to see this is what we came to after being fed a fairy tale. So no, I would not tell anybody. If my sister had gotten a call stating that, because she applied and I didn't know she applied, but she got a call and she was like, no, she's not coming, but thank you. Because I had already told her, well, up here is not all that he's saying that it is. He's feeding you a story, and then when you get here, it's something totally different.
I mean, you mentioned you're getting help to go back to Barbados. If you didn't leave and you were still working on the farms, how do you think you would have earned enough to buy a ticket to return home? Because the scheme was for 6 months, wasn't it? So if you'd have stayed, you would have stayed up until, is it the 1st of December?
Honestly, I don't know, because when I had checked the tickets at the time that Mr. Griffith had told us, Barbados is on the green light, so the ticket prices have skyrocketed. The tickets were £1,500 to go back at that point in time. So in all honesty, I don't think that I would have made that amount of money to buy the ticket, meanwhile having to pay rent, the last farm charges for internet, and the cell service is really poor. So it's like you really need to get this internet. Have to buy groceries, and I'm a female, so I need to buy my stuff. So I don't think that I would have been able to purchase that ticket on my own.